What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Louisville Sports Talk. I'm your host. My name's Cam, and today I finally did a proper pregame interview with none other than Locked On Boston College host AJ Black. Me and him sat down, had a quick conversation, just went over the game, the vibes and the feels, and what's going on. Boston College has not been playing good, and their struggles look to continue against Louisville. But anyway, let's jump into the conversation with me and AJ Black. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Louisville Sports Talk. Today, I got on Locked On Boston College host AJ Black. What's going on, AJ?
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. How you doing today?
Oh, it's great. It's another fall day here in Massachusetts, and while the football has not been very good, it's beautiful weather outside right now, so I can't complain about that.
Absolutely. It's getting a little bit too cold down here, if I have to say so myself. But
Come up here and spend a winter up in
yeah.
New England.
um, but anyway, let's start this off. What's going on down there in Boston College, man? Like, what's the season like for you guys? What's the expectations that you guys were heading into the season, and now where are you guys sitting at?
So expectations, I thought going into this season, you lost BC lost a few major players. Donovan Azaraku was a second round draft pick with Dallas Cowboys. He led the team in sacks last year. They lost their defensive tackle. Cam Horsley also graduated, and a couple offensive linemen. That being said, I thought BC had enough talent to make themselves a bowl eligible team. I didn't expect them to take a step forward this year. They had a tough schedule, but they brought back their quarterback. They brought in some interesting prospects in the transfer portal. And then the season started, and it's all gone downhill from here. So they started the season off with a huge win. I think it was like 66-10 over Fordham. Felt pretty good. There was a few little things there that you're worried about. First couple games, they played Michigan State. You lose to them in double overtime, but you battled. Your offense looked explosive. It was what it was. Stanford is where things started to fall apart. The second half of the Stanford game basically was where the train fell off the track, and from there, it's just been one bad loss after another. Um, they've been blown out. Two game they lost to Clemson by a ton. Pitt just blew them out of the water, and then UConn of all a team BC's only lost to once in their entire school history, beat them by 2 touchdowns at home. So things are bad right now. BC's 1-6. There's not a lot of positive vibes around the program right now. It's all pushed towards what's going to happen to the future of this program, and yeah, it's ugly.
What do you think the future does hold? Is Bill O'Brien, is he on the hot seat right now?
I don't think he's on the hot seat yet. I think this is one of those years where the season's going to end, and I'm going to guess he's going to take a long, hard look at his coaching staff, and say to himself like, okay, is this guy the right fit? What's going on here? And I imagine there's going to be quite a few changes. Now he took over after Jeff Hafley left for the NFL just a year ago, and because of when Hafley left, a lot of the assistants that BC could have pulled from were gone. So he kept a lot of Hafley's coaches. I look at a lot of them going, those might be the guys that they look at. But also, you got to look at your offensive and defensive coordinator. Your defense is 134th in stop rate in the country. Your offense hasn't been very good. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes. And I'm not sure, what he's going to do, but I think that's going to be a big piece of the offseason for BC.
Gotcha. Well, let's jump into this game tomorrow. What are you guys' vibes heading into that one?
Bad. Yeah, I mean, I do a daily Boston College podcast, Locked On BC, and it's been bleak this week. It seems like BC is just broken. Like there's just no other way to put that. You've got a defense that can't get any pass rush. And to get a pass rush, they blitz, but they're missing the injuries have piled up so high on the defensive side of the ball. They're missing their starting 2 corners. They're missing like some of their depth corners. They're missing 4 out of their 5 starting defensive tackles, the starting linebacker. It's just a mess. So they can't get any pressure. When they try to get pressure, they leave those young cornerbacks on an island and they get smoked. So that I look at a team like Louisville that has really good, solid talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball with Miller Moss and Isaac Brown. And I say to myself, BC does not line up well with this at all. And especially that it's a night game on the road. Like, I get the feeling that this is going to be just another one of those games where it's on to Notre Dame because like where BC's defense is at really doesn't give them a lot of chances against a team like Louisville.
Gotcha. Speaking of that position battle, the offense versus Louisville's offense versus Boston College defense,
Hmm.
how do you feel about your guys' defensive line going against our offensive line? Because take away last week for Miami against Louisville, the offensive line has been overall pretty bad this year.
BC's defense is worse.
Yeah.
They have nothing. Like no offense to the guys that they have out there right now, but they cannot win one-to-one battles. And Bill O'Brien's talked about that numerous times. There's no pass rush up front. And the one thing that you may look at is that their run defense has been okay. Like it's not bad, but they also have not faced Isaac Brown yet. Like this is the game. Like it reminds me of Virginia Tech last year with Byshell Tootin. BC got ripped to shreds by him. And this is the kind of game where I look at this and say, that front line, the way that they're playing, they're going to get blown off the ball again, and then he's just going to get 8-9 yards a clip, and it's going to get ugly quick.
I hope that we're gonna not have the typical Jeff Brohm let down after the big game because
Mm-hmm.
he's done that over and over again, even back to his days at Purdue. So heading into this game, I'm pretty worried. Not worried in the sense of the matchup, just because of the history that's there. Every
Mm-hmm.
time the past 4 times Louisville's been ranked, we've lost 4 games in a row. And, we got ranked after beating Miami, and then we're heading into this game. And with it being a night game, it just gives me those vibes of something could happen. It kind of gives me the vibes of earlier this season when Louisville played against JMU. It was a night game, it was similar circumstances. And just heading into that game, a lot of people were confident. And I just had the vibes that just something can happen. It's just that typical night game type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, as someone who covers it's not an insult to say that BC is the worst Power Four conference team right now. Like, and it's not really that close. Like, things have just gotten that bad. So I know a lot of Louisville fans are traumatized from the history, and I get that. Like the Stanford game last year, and you had one 2 years ago, right? Like, I don't know. I cannot see a path for BC to win this game. I don't think they're magically going to learn how to play defense. I'm warning you. Watch what they do. It's bad.
Well, I'm gonna be there, so I hope it's gonna be as big as the spread's gonna be. I forgot what it is the last time I looked at it.
25 and a half.
Yeah, but if you look
Yep.
at Louisville's history against the spread, it's not that good either. So
Right. Right.
that's up in the air right now. But how do you think? Let's see, what player on Boston College's roster is gives Louisville the biggest problems? You think?
Great. I'll go with Reed Harris. It's their 6'5" wide receiver. He's been their most consistent scoring threat. You got Lewis Bond, who's a wide receiver who leads the conference in receptions, but he's not someone I would say like watch out. He's explosive because he's not. He's just reliable. Reed Harris he's big, and Grayson James, who's going to be the quarterback this week, not Dylan Larnigan, has done a great job over the last year of like getting him the ball. So he scored a touchdown against UConn. He should have had two. I would say Reed Harris. He's a tough one to guard. He's just so big and he can do some things.
Gotcha. I saw that Bond was your guys' leading receiver in yards, and
Yep.
he has 0 touchdowns throughout the halfway through the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he's the guy that like when you're in the middle of the field, he'll get like he's really good on like third down. Like you'll see him when they need 7, he'll get 8, and that's the kind of thing he does over and over and over again. Just you're right. He kind of like you don't see it a lot out of him in the red zone.
Gotcha. You got any score predictions heading into this game?
Oh, I sure do. I have over at Eagle Insider, the site I work for on 247. I have BC losing this game 45-10,
Wow.
and yeah, and I'm not. I have a team of writers, and I'm probably near the most kind to BC of what they're expecting. Look, we've seen BC have some really rough seasons. This is the worst one I've ever seen. And I've covered this team for over a decade. It's and was a fan before that. This is tough. This is a they just don't you don't like to use injuries as a crutch for a lot of what's going on, but it really is. And the part of that is to blame the coaching staff because it's a whole other conversation. They brought in 17 transfers, and the only one that really has been a regular contributor that really has changed the way that the season's gone has been their punter. The BC's punting last year was atrocious. If you watched the Louisville game last year, I think that's how they came back.
Yeah.
They got a good punter finally, and now they got a punter, but they can't do anything else. So that's the piece with Bill O'Brien that I think is a really fair criticism of how the season has gone. Is like Louisville, you got Clev Lubin and Miller Moss, and you got some other really solid transfers. And Jeff Hafley, when he was here, he did the same thing. He did not like to the level of Louisville, but he got some decent transfers here. Bill O'Brien, I think, he went in and got a bunch of FCS guys, but many of them hadn't played. And now all your starters are down and you have nobody. And that's where the portal should have helped. They should have had some guys that have been able to play for them. They don't have that. So with that really that void of depth that BC has, I just think it's something that as much as everyone wants to say that Louisville has to watch out for the upset game, I just don't see BC. Their issues are they make so many catastrophic mistakes. You'll see what happens, and playing against a good defense like Louisville has is going to be even harder for BC. So I will stick with my 45-10, and I hope it ends early because I'm really annoyed that this game is at 7:30 at night. As a fan or someone there, I get it, but I have to go live and do my podcast after, and I got young kids at home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this game screams noon game? I
Yeah.
don't know why it's at 7:30.
No, I completely understand. Yeah, but speaking on the transfer portal, I would agree with you because Louisville's going through some of those issues currently. I would say before the Miami game, more than half the fan base was out on Miller Moss as our
Yep.
quarterback because he was struggling, especially with turnovers. And that's one thing that I want to see going into this game is how he's going to control the ball and whether or not
Right.
he's going to make those idiot plays, not to, but I mean,
Yep.
it's just, it's, if I didn't know it was as bad as it is down there, up there. And, if it is, I think this game should be as easy and we should beat the spread, but it's, building, there's definitely some area there for, it to be interesting, especially heading into halftime. If we're up by 2 or 3 scores at halftime, I would say we're probably fine. But if it's, a 2 touchdown or less, type deal, then I would start to be interested in that because that's when the letdown Brohm comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I just for Boston College, like you have this game, and then they've got one win, right? I had them projected to possibly win 4 or 5, and it should have based off how they played to start the season. It just has fallen apart so bad. Their schedule after this, it's Louisville, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, SMU, and
Oh yeah.
Syracuse. I know Syracuse is down and out, so maybe you have a chance at one win there if they can figure things out by the end of the year. But man, this this next month is going to be rough.
Well, here's to better days for you guys. I like I like it when you guys are somewhat competitive.
Yeah.
But
Hey, last year was fun.
yeah, exactly. That was a good game. But I don't know. You got anything else you want to say? You got any plugs you want to put in?
Yeah, if you're interested to hear more of my takes on Boston College, check me out on Locked On BC and on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can come over Eagle Insider on 247. If you guys have a Louisville account, you can read all our stuff there free as part of your account there. And check me out on Twitter at AJ Black 247 or any social media. Yeah,
Well, absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming in here. Kept it short and sweet, and then, I hope to talk to you again next year. I don't even know if
I
we
went.
play you guys next year.
We never get away from Louisville. Like they
Yeah.
made this all new ACC schedule, and BC hasn't played Wake Forest or NC State since like 2022. And there's Louisville, who BC never plays well against or haven't beaten in a while, every single year.
Well, it's
So
also like us. Next week we're going to Virginia Tech, and that's going to be our first time playing at Virginia Tech in the 11. How long we've been in this conference,
yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
crazy.
it's confusing times, but
Yep.
yeah, I appreciate it, man.
All
You
right, thanks for having me on.
you have a good one.
You too.
Thanks.